stranded on an island with storms that won't let you leave and surrounded by psychopaths. How will you find your way back home? Welcome to Summed Up, the series where I take a game or piece of game media, summarize it, and then give it back to you. In this one, I go over Tomb Raider, the 2013 reboot. While looking for the island of Yamatai in search of Himiko, the Sun Queen, the ship Lara Croft was traveling in is ripped apart by a storm. Lara and the crew wash up on a shore, but before she is able to reunite with them, someone knocks her out. Croft wakes up, bound and hung upside down inside a shrine. She manages to free herself and goes to look for the other survivors, but only finds a backpack, a camcorder, some matches, and a two-way radio. Lara sets up camp for the night when she hears Conrad Roth, the captain of the Endurance, the ship that we're on, asking for help over the radio. He tells her that he sent an SOS before abandoning the ship. This captain didn't go down with his ship, and that he managed to get in contact with the rest of the crew who have agreed to regroup at his location. While on her way, Lara comes across Samantha, her best friend, and another survivor, not from the crew, named Matthias. Sam had managed to get in contact with the rest of the crew and was there waiting for them to come get her. Croft dozes off, and when she comes to, she's all alone. She gets up to look for Sam and Matthias, but falls prey to a bear trap, which, seeing as it's not one of those modern ones that are lined with rubber, must have hurt. The crew arrive and free Lara from the trap, but Sam isn't with them. Jocelyn Reyes, the mechanic of the ship, decides that they should split up to look for Sam and Roth. Lara goes with Professor James Whitman, the lead archaeologist of the crew, to look for Conrad, while the rest will go look for Sam. While investigating, Lara and Whitman are attacked and captured by a group of islanders. Back at their camp, Croft and the prisoners make a run for it. While she's hiding, she's found by one of the islanders. They fight it out and Lara manages to free herself, grab his gun and shoot him. A now distraught Lara is free to go. More or less, but not without some new invisible scars. She makes her way to Roth, who is badly injured from fighting off a pack of wild wolves. The captain passes out and Lara leaves to find his food pack, taken by the wolves because it contains bandages and other supplies to help him. After getting the supplies and patching him up, the captain wakes. Since Roth's leg is busted and he isn't going anywhere soon, Lara will have to take the transmitter from the boat, which was in the pack, and hook it up to the radio tower in order to call for help. On the way up to the radio tower, Reyes contacts Croft through their communicator. They update each other on their respective situations. Alex tells Lara that she has to find a communications console to hook up the transmitter. Sadly, the group has nothing to report on Sam's whereabouts. She makes her way up to the control room, but it's old, frail, and pretty much useless. Croft contacts Alex for what to do, and he tells her that she'll have to connect the transmitter directly to the tower's maintenance panel, which is located at the highest point of the radio tower. Lara makes it and is able to contact an aircraft that had been looking for them since they got the distress call from the Endurance. The plane shows up, but freak lightning strikes it out of the blue and the aircraft goes down. Lara sees at least one of the occupants glide down in a parachute and goes after him. She reaches him just in time to see him get killed by one of the islanders. Lara catches up with Roth and they start discussing the situation when a distress call from the co-pilot of the plane comes through on her walkie-talkie. Feeling guilty from having called them to the island, she goes to rescue the co-pilot. When she finds him, the man is heavily wounded and the islanders had used him as bait in a trap for her. Matthias is there and commands his cronies to kill Croft. They knock her out, and while going in and out of consciousness, she sees that the islanders are attacked by some giant humanoid creatures, the Oni, the Queen's Guard. When she finally comes to, Croft finds herself in a meat locker, for lack of a better term, full of human corpses. Just a guess, but the stench must have been unbearable. Skulking around, Lara finds Himiko's tomb, proving once and for all that they are indeed on Yamatai. Studying the tomb, she learns that there was some sort of ascension ritual performed by Himiko's followers, a way to choose her successor. After leaving the tomb, Croft hears Samantha's voice through her radio. Sam explains that she's been kidnapped, being held in some old Japanese-looking palace, and keeps hearing talk about some fire ritual. Before Lara can get more information, Sam cuts out, saying that someone's coming and she has to hide. Lara then calls Roth, who tells her that he's headed to the palace because the others are also being held there. Once in the vicinity of the palace, Sam is able to contact Croft again. Lara promises to help just before she hears Sam scream as she's found and captured. On the way to the palace, Croft comes across Grimm, the Endurance's helmsman, and ends up in a standoff between her and the islanders. Either she surrenders or they kill Grimm, but the crotchety old Irishman refuses to let Lara be taken and he fights them off, takes 2 of the islanders down, but falls off the edge with the 3rd and last one, effectively dying to save Croft's life. Making her way to the palace again, Lara is attacked and finds herself in a tight spot when suddenly the islanders get shot dead. Roth caught up with her and he has a sniper rifle. Roth agrees to cover Lara so she can get into the palace to rescue the others, and just before they get to work, a call comes in through their radio. A rescue chopper is on the way to get them off the island. Once inside the palace, she finds Matthias giving a speech to his followers, his Solari Brotherhood. Sam is tied up in some sort of altar as Matthias tells his followers that they must awaken their queen and the fire ritual will show them the way. As one of the Solari approaches the altar with a torch, Lara jumps in and shoots him, saving Sam but getting captured and beaten. Matthias returns to the task at hand, throwing the torch at the altar and setting it aflame. But a freak wind comes out of the blue, putting the fire out. Matthias states that Sam is the chosen one and that the Solari will soon be reborn. While being taken to where she was gonna be held, or killed, Croft frees herself from the 2 guards, takes back her bow and jumps off the rock bridge they were on into a river of bloody water, skulls, and bones. Lara makes her way to where the others are being held prisoner, and after a completely out of place celebration by them for her having killed all the guards. I get that they're keeping you against your will and everything, but do you have to throw a party after seeing someone murder 4 guys? She starts looking for a way to get them free. Croft manages to free them, and then she goes further into the cave, back into the palace to find Sam and Professor Whitman. Moving through the now burning palace, Lara comes across Whitman, alive and surprisingly unharmed. He explains that the Solari had stopped seeing him as a threat and were allowing him to move about freely. Lara goes to a room the professor pointed out, where Sam is being held, while he stays behind, serving as lookout. Inside, Matthias is speaking to Sam, telling her that she's been chosen and what a great honor that is. He goes on to say that they're all trapped on Yamatai, but Sam has the power to release them. A Solari brother comes in to inform Matthias that the fires are engulfing everything and that the other girl has escaped. The cult leader leaves with him to sort things out, leaving Sam alone with 1 guard. Croft shoots him and the 2 girls embrace. Making their exit, Lara finds Whitman walking, hands tied behind his back, and Matthias close behind. The girls run back into the throne room where one of the exits collapses as Sam runs through it. As Sam escapes, Croft stays behind to fend off the Solari. Lara catches up with Sam and tells her to find Roth and not to get on the rescue chopper. Roth arrives with the rescue chopper to save Lara just in the nick of time. She starts yelling that they have to land or the storms will crash the chopper. Roth agrees, saying that they can't leave the others behind. Then, lightning strikes the chopper, bringing it down as Lara had warned. When Roth comes to, he's trapped under a helicopter blade, and Croft is a few feet away from him, unconscious. He gets to her and revives her. But as they're walking away, Matthias arrives with some Solari. Roth kills 2 of the Solari, but runs out of bullets before he can kill their leader. As Matthias throws a tomahawk at them, Roth turns around to protect Lara and takes the axe to the back. He then turns around with a second pistol and kills the remainder of the Solari, but Matthias escapes. Later, the crew arrives to find Lara sitting next to Roth's corpse. Reyes says that there's a PT boat on the beach and she should be able to fix it in order for them to get off the island. Lara protests that they can't leave, that something won't let them. Reyes storms off, saying that Lara needs some sleep, but Jonah and Alex agree that something that defies all logic is definitely happening on the island. After analyzing everything, Laura figures that the Sun Queen and the storms have to be linked. Using a map she took from Matthias' room before the palace was destroyed, she finds a hidden river entrance leading to a ritual room where she believes the answer to stopping the storms lies. The plan is to use the boat that Reyes is fixing to go inland to the ritual chamber so she can stop the storms. She meets back up with the crew at the beach, minus Alex, who had gone to the Endurance's wreckage to get Reyes' tools. Laura helps with fixing the boat when suddenly Whitman runs in, screaming for help and shooting behind himself. Croft accuses the professor of leading the Solari to them at the beach, like she suspects he did at the palace when she was rescuing Sam. Tensions rise, but Jonah manages to get everyone to calm down and keep a level head. Laura decides to leave and go help Alex finding the tools. She finds him in the Endurance with Reyes' tools, trapped, his leg wrecked and surrounded by Solari. Alex convinces Laura to take the tools and save herself. She leaves and then he shoots a gas leak, creating a chain reaction of explosions that destroys what is left of the Endurance, sinking it, him, and the Solari. Back at the camp, Reyes and Whitman start talking about leaving in the boat once it's fixed, but Laura says that they can't. She's going to investigate some ruins that she read about, and Reyes tells her that once they're ready to leave, they're leaving, with or without her. Laura reaches the ruins and inside finds the corpse of a Japanese general. In the hilt of the general's sword, she finds a note addressed to Himiko. The note explains how the fire ritual was a failure because the priestess that was to be part of the ritual committed suicide before it could take place. Now, Himiko's soul is trapped in a decaying body and her anger is making the storms that rage on Yamatai. In order to stop the storms, they have to destroy Himiko's body. While on her way back to the beach, Laura gets a call from Reyes on her radio. They're under attack. By the time Laura gets there, the battle is over and Whitman has taken Sam back to Matthias. Finally, Croft manages to convince Reyes to give her plan a shot. Now they'll head inland, through the river to find the ritual chamber, whatever is inside that controls the storms, and bring Sam back. Laura goes to the ritual chamber, while Jonah and Reyes stay behind on the boat guarding the entrance. As she reaches the monastery, Laura spots Whitman, Matthias, and Sam heading to its entrance. In front stand two Oni. Matthias explains that they're the Storm Guard, the Queen's personal guard, and they're waiting to be introduced to the new Queen. Whitman approaches them. The Storm Guard strike him down, and Matthias uses the distraction to slip past them with Sam in tow. Laura finds an alternate route to the inside of the monastery, and there she finds legions of Storm Guard that are not one bit happy to find an interloper. Deep inside the monastery, Laura finds the ritual chamber depicting the fire ritual, and she finally understands. The ritual doesn't transfer power, it transfers a soul. The priestesses sacrificed their lives and bodies so that Himiko could continue living and commanding her people. Laura catches up with Sam and Matthias at the top of the monastery. There, Matthias calls out to the Sun Queen, stating that he has brought her a new vessel, and Himiko starts transferring her soul into Sam's body. Laura makes it to the central area where the transference is taking place, kills Matthias, and puts an end to Himiko just in time to save Sam and end the madness. Laura carries Sam back to the PT boat, and the four survivors can, at long last, leave Yamatai. And that's the story of the 2013 Tomb Raider reboot. Do you think you could survive suddenly being thrown in such an island? I doubt I could. Click that like button if you liked the video, subscribe if you really liked it. As always, this is Lore Logs' Summed Up, and I'll see you next time.